What's going on, everybody? I believe I am live and everything's looking good. Just kind of make sure all my settings are sorted out. What's going on? All right, I believe we're good. I'm sure people will tell me if we're not. What's going on? Diogo, Robert, Adam, Matthias. What's going on, everybody? Everybody says I'm sounding good and everything, so I believe we are good to go. We'll get loaded up and move on. Make sure I'm loading up the right one. Oh. We left off in the Underdark last time, moving through that relatively quickly, so I don't think we'll be there too long. I'm hoping to finish up Act 1 today. But so far, we're level 5. One level in each class has been going so far so well. Asclodon says back on the grind. Yep. Robert says, does BG3 have an achievement equivalent to sadistic game design? Nothing quite so challenging. There's an achievement for beating it on Tactician, but that's about it. True Reyes says, is Wrath of the Righteous worth it at $30? Yeah, absolutely. Especially if you plan on playing it more than once. There's hundreds of hours of content there.
One day I'll catch a break.
Roberto says, hi, how's it going? Alright, so we are going to move this way, take out the hook horrors, and try to save Balin over here. Adam says this is the first live of Mort for me. Always thought of him as Zordon from the Power Rangers. That's a unique comparison. Fair enough. Dongsheng? I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. But it says look like a guy that really looks good at, does really well at CRPGs, and you're not wrong.
Away one's magic.
Javier says, hey Mort, glad to finally catch one live. Glad to have you here myself. Gotta blow these up, just so we don't get hit by them. And then we can come down here, and if we're lucky, we'll be able to just throw that guy a scroll and save him pretty easy. Petrie says, remind me of the order, the classes we've taken so far. Yeah, sure thing. So we started with Fighter, then we went Rogue, we got Warlock, Ranger, and Cleric going. So the idea here is to lean into our dexterity as much as possible and try to make use of bows and the arrow types, since that will be kind of useful regardless of the weird class situation. Most recently, we took a level in War Cleric to give us the War Priest extra attack, which will give us more than one attack, despite us only having one level in each class, which is handy. Okay, we're going to grab Lae'zel here, and then with any luck, she'll be able to throw one of our scrolls to this guy up here. Because otherwise, trying to save him is a real issue.
Stop! Stop! People play!
Basically, if we get too close to these, they blow up.
Scroll!
But we have a Scroll of Misty Step, so we don't need to try to grab his, and if we can pass a strength check, you can just throw it to him. Rialan says, is ranged main a viable option for new players? Yeah. I mean, especially if you're just playing on normal. Pretty much everything's viable on normal. You don't really have to min-max to get the most out of it. Separate Lae'zel here and then talk to this guy.
Right.
He gives us a scroll, and then we can go turn that quest in when we are ready. And then we don't have to deal with all that. How we're going to build Lae'zel? Lae'zel is fantastic as a Battle Master fighter. You really don't have to do anything special besides just leave her as Battle Master fighter. That is an incredibly good class, even on Tactician. You don't really have to do anything special there.
It feels like...
Emmert says you can use Mage Hand Throw. Yeah, there's a few different ways, but I think the main thing is just trying to make sure you don't actually set off those Bibber Bangs. Robert says I can't run this game, unfortunately. I'll have to resort to watching it. Thanks for the streams. Bummer to hear you can't play it yourself. Hopefully you'll get a chance to, because it is very fun. Rafal says, have I got a Twitch channel? Technically yes, but I don't really use it at all.
A fool's these mortals be?
I'm actually not sure I've ever streamed on that channel. Like, I have an
Striking
account,
distance.
but I genuinely can't remember the last time I actually used it. Mr. Young says, Baldur's Gate, Final Fantasy 16, or Tears of the Kingdom for Game of the Year. I think it's either going to be Tears of the Kingdom or Baldur's Gate 3 at this point. They just both did so incredibly well critically that I think it's pretty much guaranteed to be one of those two. Joshua asks, what are the best companion choices for a Dark Urge playthrough? So it depends on what you're doing. If you're making, if like you're actively resisting the urges, or you're just kind of going with them, because there are companions that lean into both. Arbustri asks, what is this achievement for? It is for getting one level in every class without respecking into it.
Forward. A rough tempest I will raise.
Joshua says Evil Dark Urge. Lae'zel's pretty cool with it. Minthara, if you go the completely evil route, and Astarion also doesn't really seem to care too much. As long as you're not trying to hit them specifically, they don't really care.
Time to strike.
Have I seen the Gothic Remake's new trailer? I haven't seen one since the original one, so I'm gonna say no. Danny asks, who are my main companions in my Warlock playthrough? Shadowheart, Lae'zel, and Gale. Kind of my standard party, if you will, thanks to their sort of robust class coverage.
Hells, we're attracting too much attention.
Alright, see if we can actually... kill this thing before reinforcements show up.
What path lies before me?
There's like 2 or 3 more, and then a mage over here. Sarabenu says, just finished this morning with a Ninja Dark Urge. Second playthrough now with a Paladin. And then it's an awesome game. Yeah, it is a fantastic game. I'm glad people are enjoying it so much. Pretty wild to see it hit such mainstream appeal, so to speak. Brask asks if Minthara can join on a good playthrough. No, you gotta make some pretty evil decisions to get Minthara in here. Oh, there it is. I was like, what am I in combat with? Okay. The Private Shorty says I cheese this fight super hard with the branches here. Yeah, you can.
Focus. Got to press on. Swift and lethal.
But I'm trying not to waste too many resources, as these guys really aren't that big a deal. Couldn't show an arrow or anything. Brass says, well, time to make another playthrough. Yeah, that's about right. Adam says, just wanted to say thanks. Got 80 plus hours of enjoyment out of Expeditions Rome from your vids. Would definitely recommend. Yeah, so Expeditions Rome is just like, it's fantastic. It is such a better game than I expected. Alright, he's gonna jump this way. Oh, wow. I figured he would try to jump, like, on the branch, but nope. All right. Nice.
Let's finish this.
Hater. Destroyer.
Swift and lethal.
There. Wanted to kill that mage before he had a chance to cast anything at us. This hook horror should be almost dead. Do I save scum to get the desired outcome on rolls? I mean, not all the time by any means. It kind of just depends on what I'm trying to do. Sometimes, though, certainly. Francisco says, nice to see you live. How's it going? It is going pretty well so far. We're probably going to have to long rest after this fight, though, because I am getting close to being out of resources. Oh, of course I would leave it with 1 HP. Askladden says, I can't remember if you've ever done some IRL type comment from the small tidbits you've mentioned. It would be an interesting title. No, I haven't really done anything IRL, so to speak. Mostly I just stick to video games. I try to stick to what I'm good at. Outside of the occasional story, that's about as far as I go.
My faith will protect me. Time to strike. This is your end.
Really use Lae'zel to stop missing her like 80% chances to hit. Nice. Adam says, was I surprised by the stats released by Baldur's Gate 3 so far? So I will say that I was surprised more people hadn't beaten it. The number of people who had beaten the game is incredibly low for the opening weekend. I'm sure it's more since then, because by the time they posted those stats, they were already a few days old, but... Other than that, not too much. I think the fact that the cleric was played so little surprised me a little bit. I think most people see them as a healer might be the issue. But, like, that's not really what
Time to strike.
clerics are all about. Clerics are full spellcasters, and they can just nuke stuff, and I don't think a lot of people understand what they're good at. Because that stat is shockingly low. Josh says, back at it. Hope your day is going well. It is going well. Can't complain at all. Joshua says, Tempest Cleric is so fun. Yeah, Cleric is such a fun caster class. I think a lot of people just pigeonhole it as a healer, which is such a mistake. Another geek on the wall says, yeah, they probably would have been more if they had expanded the window for the stats a little bit. Probably so, yeah.
Can't afford to let up.
Alright, we've just about got this wrapped up. I like that they put the hook horrors in, as they're such a cool monster, but like, I don't know, I don't feel like this fight does them justice, really. Have I considered reviewing the Darkest Dungeon games? Have I considered it? Yes. Have I managed to find the time to do so? No. I've got 2 runs of this game going. I'm trying to review something else I can't talk about that's due like soon. Time is like the biggest thing I've got going against me most of the time. So I have considered it, yes, but when that actually happens, who knows? Mark says, I play a War Domain Cleric and melt everything since I reached level 5. Yeah, War Domain is fun because they get that extra attack, and that can be useful in like certain builds. But personally, I prefer Tempest all the way. Alright, we gotta come loot this guy. What are my thoughts about Starfield? I think Starfield has a ton of potential, and I'm looking forward to checking it out. But I will say it is super weird that they have done like 0 marketing for that game, and it is launching soon.
Adamantium.
One more piece of our staff there. I kind of just figured they would have ramped the marketing up a little by now, and I just haven't seen it yet. Will I make a BG3 story supercut? Yeah, eventually. That is something I would like to do. I imagine by the time I get all my playthroughs done, I will have more than enough footage to do that, and I'll likely just get to it, since Larian have said they are unlikely to do basically anything else expansion-wise. GLW says, big fan, glad you're streaming. I appreciate it. I don't stream often, usually for special events, that kind of thing, so I wouldn't even expect it too much after I finish this, but in general, it's something I like to do every once in a while, that kind of thing. Raid says I need to read about some D&D classes. Yeah, it would be helpful. I've got a big series on them that kind of goes over what they're good at, some of their general mechanics. Okay. Now that we've got that done, we can wrap up a few more quests. Do I play D&D in my own time with friends, etc.? Not so much, honestly. I used to a bunch in high school, but these days I don't really have the time or a dedicated group of friends to do so with, so I usually stick to video games these days. Tommy asks how Baldur's Gate 3 is going. Very well, can't complain at all. Bratton says, I'm sure they'll expand on BG3, maybe optimize it. I mean, I don't doubt that we'll get, like, patches and things to make it a little better, but, I mean, they've literally already said that, well, it's not impossible. They're not even working on anything extra for it right now in terms of, like, big content expansion type stuff, so I certainly wouldn't rule it out, but I'm not expecting anything. And even if they did add something, I'm not super inclined to believe that it would be, like, higher level content or anything like that.
Losing his mind was the only good he ever did by collecting noble stuff. Nearly nothing it kept. I know him better.
Alright, then we get some gloves. Those are fantastic for like a barbarian or something that's doing like improvised weapon with the throwing things, which can be pretty cool, but for us they are fairly useless. And then
Maggots will be done.
No one stopped me yet. At the ready.
Eager for battle.
if we grab a
Not as bad as it could have.
dagger or something, we can go finish up
Still
another
alive,
quest real
so
quick
that's
before
We'll be
we...
clearing out soon. You come across a noble stock mushroom about. You give it here. Gods know
Full
I've
rest
earned
for
it.
the day. I need to go grab like a dagger. Tommy says give Larian a go at Pillars 3.
Wonder if the gods
I would
are
really
watching
love
me.
to see Larian Studios get back to the Divinity series, and they've pretty much said that they will at least plan on doing more in an interview not too long ago, so that's what I'm looking forward to most from them. Dr. Sita said bards and druids can be considered spellcaster classes. Yeah, both of them are full spellcasters. They both get like 9th levels, or technically they would get 9th level spells, but here in Baldur's Gate 3 it's only level 6, but yeah, they are both full spellcasters. System Shaka says, will this playthrough be available to watch whenever? Yeah, it will. These will all be VODs as soon as the streams themselves are wrapped up, so no worries there. People will be able to watch them after the fact. I literally just need a dagger, guys. Come on. I'd settle for a great sword. See if I can find one over here at the smith. Persona Gem says, are you winning? Currently. We'll see how it goes from here, though. Nice.
Master House is past this pride.
If I had just like a plain dagger or a plain greatsword. Oh, there. Of course she had one. Why wouldn't she? Wasn't looking.
Never mind.
All right, now we can go to the Blighted Village and finish up that weapon quest, just for the XP.
Very well.
Do I ever get burned out from all the content? No, not really. Sometimes it can be a lot to keep up with. Like streaming and also making videos every day is actually pretty difficult. Am I playing on the max settings? No, we're just playing on balanced. I'm gonna try to fix my screen a little bit. Yeah, but as good as it's gonna get. Oh, Persona Jim joined as a member. I appreciate it. That's kind of you. Okay.
Time to get this thing fired up.
Now we add the bark from that tree. Technically, you don't have to do this with a dagger. You can do it with like a greatsword and stuff too. But we're just after the XP here.
The flame.
And that gives us a dagger that silences on hit, which is pretty cool for some fights. Braid says, never thought I would like CRPGs before Baldur's Gate 3. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying them now. The more the merrier, after all. Alright, now we can head back to the Myconid colony. Oh, how would I rank Baldur's Gate 3 in terms of 1 and 2? I think it's a fantastic next entry into that series. Though I'm sure some people would disagree, but I think it connects really nicely. Okay. So now that we've got both of those done, we can head down over this way towards the Arcane Tower. But first, we need to long rest, because we're just about out of resources here. Persona Gem says hirelings. I mean, I'm glad hirelings are here, but we're not using any of them. How do I feel this plays with a controller? I can't play games like this with a controller to save my life, but I've seen some really cool stuff where like it changes the entire camera angle and everything, so...
Would you like to experience this?
There's one of Gale's like romance conversations, if that's your thing. Looks like that's everybody. Any preferences on real-time with pause or turn-based? I've played so many of them that I honestly kind of just stopped caring after a while. If I'm being real, turn-based is like my actual preference, but I don't know. You play enough of them, you kind of just stop caring.
Have you spoken with
Had any work as a funeral agent or mortician? No, I can't say that I have. Any feedback on long resting? Yeah, you're pretty much safe to do it as often as you want. There's a couple of timed quests, kind of, where like if you were to long rest while those quests are active, it can not necessarily pan out the way you want, but other than that, there's not really any sort of limitation on the resting. Can you get ambushed while resting? Not outside of a scripted event. There's a thing you can interact with there. But we are headed up this way. Everybody back up a little bit.
There is work to do.
Let's move.
Am I excited for Armored Core or Starfield? I'm excited for Starfield. I don't know like anything about Armored Core as a series, so like it's cool that they're continuing to make something like that. I'm glad it appeals to people, but
On my way.
I don't know enough about Armored Core to be like, oh, this is going to be awesome or anything. So,
There's trouble afoot.
how long did my first run take? Yours took 75 hours. My first run took about 50, but that's with a lot of experience playing these types of games.
Injuries on this drow are consistent with a fall. A very deep
What class
fall.
and build are we seeing here? So we're doing one level in every class for the achievement, which means that we've got, at level 5 different classes going, which is being a bit of a mess, but so far it's actually working better than I expected it to, which is saying something. Robert said this game is missing good old kingdom management. No, I don't agree at all with that. I don't like kingdom management. How long is Act 3? Act 3 is... It depends on how much of the content you're doing. Act 3 can be either really long or relatively short, depending on how much of it you actually wind up doing. Okay, so these cannons up here can be incredibly annoying.
Yes.
Because they've got that sturdy thing, but they are weak to lightning damage in particular.
At least things have stayed interesting.
And of course, we don't have any lightning arrows.
You have my attention. I venture forth.
But we can turn it on to... They take double damage from lightning, so they're easier to kill, but that sturdy thing makes them annoying.
Objective noted.
There's a few of them over here we'll have to get rid
Still
of.
breathing, despite everything.
Any other upcoming CRPGs I'm excited about? Well, Rogue Trader is probably the biggest one outside of this, and even that's not really nearly as big as this. There's another one called Dark Envoy that's supposed to be releasing sometime this year, and the same thing with Colony Ship. But those are much smaller titles, but I'm excited to check out those. What is truth? Asked Scroll of Summon Quasit. There's one that is like a specific Quasit for a quest. I don't believe there are any others. Oh, Christ, as you can deactivate these with the tree blooms. Yeah, technically, but where's the fun in that?
Your desire. Immediately.
What's next?
Come on.
Let me work my magic.
There's no time to waste.
Mortem, strange question, but you seem very level-headed and mature for your age. Do you have any advice for someone to develop these qualities?
Never a dull moment.
I mean, not really, to be honest with you.
Can't slow down.
I would say that I grew up relatively quickly compared to most people, and that
Go ahead. I'm listening.
facilitated the need to be a little more professional in many respects, especially when I started managing a business. Do I think Baldur's Gate 3 will inspire other developers to make a game like this? I hope it will inspire developers to make the game they want to make. I think Baldur's Gate 3 is already fantastic at what it does, and you don't need to replicate it in its entirety or anything like that, but I certainly hope it inspires people somewhere to do something that they want to do and can bring as much passion to. We have that scroll.
Ready and willing.
Oh, enough waiting. I crave blood.
Let's get going.
There it is. I was like, I just picked up a scroll of Featherfall. This jump, annoyingly, will give you like 2 damage, like no matter what your jump skill is.
That might be worth a look.
Do I get to choose traits and stuff for your animal companions in this game, or they just grow? I haven't messed around a ton with the ranger, but it's my understanding that they increase in power as you level up, the class that has them. But I don't believe you pick any feats or anything for them. But I haven't checked them out since early access yet. That's actually something I have to do later today for a video, actually. The old Nat 1. Come on. There we go. Advanced Level Gaming says I can't find the surprise companion in Act 3 in the sewers. If you go to the park in Baldur's Gate, there is a door that if you lockpick will lead directly to where he is, which will save you from having to solve an annoying puzzle to find him otherwise. Have I played Desperados 3? A little bit, not a ton. I checked it out a little bit when it first launched, but I never made any videos on it or anything. Is Warlock still my favorite class? Yeah. Very much so. Alright, so if we put the Susur flower, which causes anti-magic, into this thing, it will power up the lift. Which we can then use to get upstairs, but we need to look around a little bit first. Do I have any ideas for another playthrough? So I'm doing one other playthrough in addition to this, like right now, with a druid, trying to find the sort of best way for me to cover that. But beyond that playthrough, I'm also going to do one with each origin character as well. So I've got a few in mind, yeah. Up we go.
Wizard's Tower is his sanctum. Private place for research and
All right, and now we can
As
grab
this wizard's
the
not home,
spores for another quest. It's also important to read some of the books
Seems
around
like the
here,
owner
which will
was
help us
quite
with
the
the boss
literary
fight at the
type.
top, or potentially give us the ability to skip it. But we need a Tongue of Madness. And the Tin Mask Spores.
Hiding here.
And now we can keep on moving up. Does the magic flower affect bosses? Yeah, so the magic flower just gives an anti-magic effect, so that's essentially like a silence bubble. What do I consider 100% in this game? I would say trying to see all of the major options, playing through as all the characters, and then a couple other things. I actually made a video talking about this that probably goes a little more in-depth than I can right here, but I do have something in mind. Any trick to getting past the arcane shooting towers? So if you take out the first two and then activate the lift, these other ones kind of just deactivate on their own. You don't have to do anything at that point.
Magic. But where?
When is the redacted ranger companion available to add to the party? Very, very late in the game. Like, you'll almost be done with the game by the time you can get that companion, which is a bit of a bummer in my opinion. Do I prioritize party composition, roleplay, player character goals, or what? So here's the thing. On normal, you don't need to like min-max at all. Especially if you know what you're doing. Like, it's just not necessary. So at that point, you can kind of just roll with the party composition that you want. And you kind of take that wherever roleplay-wise you want to go with it. But it really just depends on what I'm trying to do in that particular playthrough. Like, for instance, my druid playthrough that I'm doing right now, I'm rolling with specific companions that I haven't had, like, in the party yet. So, as an example, I'm not really concerned about the party composition specifically there. What is true says, do you utilize donations? In the sense that they help me pay my bills, I guess, sure. Another Geek on the Wall says, even on Tactician, you don't necessarily need to min-max, which is very true. I actually talked about this in the Cleric build I made for Tactician build. I was like, there's actually a little more you could do to min-max this, but it's just not necessary. So yes, I agree.
I've got a long road ahead.
Let's get on with it.
No time to rest. Can't give up now.
Where's the donation button? It should be towards the bottom of chat, I think. Hold on. Yeah, it's all enabled. I don't know where it's actually at, but should be around there somewhere, I suppose.
With haste.
Lady of Sorrows, guide us.
Alright, and now we go up one more time. Save it real quick, though. Then we get stopped by this automaton.
Is it the foe? A foul, contemptuous heel, an unnasty.
So, it's possible to skip this fight if you read the books around here. There's like a poem thing that will like deactivate them. If we'd quit saving against what I'm trying to do. There we go.
On the move.
Hoping I had a little more movement than that. A waste of action surge, to be honest. Callum says with a bard you can read the correct line back to him. Yeah, you can. I mean, if you just read the notes around here, it's not that hard to find. You just have to find the thing that outlines the like poetry, I think it was, that she set all these guys up with to respond to as a unique magical thing.
No time like the present.
really missed Gale a bunch of times there.
Time to press ahead.
He's going to wind up trying to come back up, but we've got a little bit before he can. Derek says, thank you for providing all the content. I appreciate it. Glad people are finding it useful more than anything. Mr. Vader said it was a pretty depressing tale reading those notes. Yeah. Yeah, that'll happen. Alright, we gotta start actually killing some stuff here.
Need to act fast.
Would require me to be able to hit it, though, wouldn't it? Alright, there's one.
My feet.
He'll be popping back up here. Right for you.
In my best interest. Let's end this. Got to press on. Take your hero.
They are just going to hit him again, but roll an axe. Swear to God, Shadowheart is useless.
On my way.
Like, until you get later where she actually has some spells, her stats are so terrible that unless you respec her, she just does not do any damage.
I will not fall before my time. I will ascend. I'm fury. I am death. Victory awaits.
The witching hour. Pawn to cleric 4.
On the move.
Though it would help if I hadn't missed, like, half-ish of all the attacks here. Eric says, yeah, you do have to respec Shadowheart. Yeah, her stats are just so bad. Like, what is this? 13 in strength, dex? Like, the only thing they did right here was give her high wisdom as a cleric. Like, unless you respec her, her stats are just awful. Alright, but if you actually kill this guy instead of skipping the fight, you get this awesome two-handed halberd. And this ring, but you would have gotten the ring anyway. Derek says I made her into your Tiamat build. Yeah, that's that build that I used for Tactician is kind of what I had in mind for Shadowheart going forward, just because, like, even if that's not a build you want to play for your main character, it just makes her character so much better. Alright, I assume that's probably an upgrade for her.
run with the wave.
One of our spell slots back.
Shouldn't have wished to live in more interesting
Give it a
times.
short rest.
Prepared.
And we'll heal up.
No one back home will
That
ever
fight didn't go
like
bad, but we missed so many attacks. Test subject, is it weird that I was expecting you to be bald? I mean, it's a little strange. I will say that turning 30 as a guy, my hairline's starting to pull back on me finally, which not a fan of, but other than that, yeah. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the tower. Now we can head back to the Myconid colony and turn that quest right there in. Callum said Baldur Gaming. Listen, if it all falls out, I guess I'll have to rebrand, you know?
Welcome back. Have you made...
Alright, now we
I
can
greet
turn in our
you,
spores
child
to
of the
the
sun.
rogue mind flayer here.
How has your search for the... You must drink the...
The world loses its edges, its finer boundaries. You are fluid, but trapped like a creature suspended in amber.
Ooh, just barely passed that one.
A few sparks and colors dance around Omello.
Revolver said, get a hamster,
Just
shave
stay
your head, get a
steady
tribal
and
tattoo,
staring
and roll into
The
it.
temple's fear pierces your
Yeah,
world
I guess
with
that would be
knives
one
and
way
ice.
to approach the situation.
Parasite
Sure.
digs deeper, as if it needs to hollow out your skull.
Oh no, we'll try to pass this with inspiration, just to use some of it. Might still fail a bunch though. What level are we now? We are still level 5. We'll probably hit level 6 today at least though. Another geek on the wall says I was expecting a talking skull, but at least we got one of those in BG3. Yeah, yeah, the funny thing is,
The cold
like the
blades
correlations
lose
to
their
Mort and
apparent
Planescape are so obvious, but like it's actually not what I had in mind at all.
Is like nothing. Such an outcome wasn't... I would offer it as a gift, but in truth, the ring is...
Yeah, we can probably pass this
priceless.
intimidation check.
Is there anything you could offer me?
Oh, 18, of course. We'll use our last inspiration on it. Terrible.
I understand.
Worth a shot.
How is it?
He can give you a ring if you pass that check there.
Not well.
Or well, just any of those checks, really.
Nutrition my species receives from other mines.
But there is that done. Oh, will he still give it to you?
You return. Have you... What shall you offer in exchange? A fascinating topic indeed. What can you tell me?
Yeah, there we go. Do I speak any other languages? No, not really.
What a... May...
That could...
Of course.
And that gives us our Ring of Mind shielding, which gives us advantage on saving throws against Charmed, but Charmed in this game isn't really a threat because it barely does anything, so... Mostly that's just vendor garbage at this point. Any other games with 5th edition rules? Solasta would probably be the big one. It's a little more rules as written, mind you, but
We'll be clear. You come across a noble stock mushroom about. You give it here.
still very much so uses it.
God, no, I've earned it.
Sell some of this stuff. And
70 years of...
back we go. Getting pretty close to being done with the Underdark. Just a couple more things to do before we head off to Grimforge. which I guess is technically still the Underdark, but slightly different area. Key says I was shocked at how trash Charmed is. Yeah, so literally the only thing Charmed does is the character that is charmed cannot attack the person that charmed it. That's it. It doesn't, like, no loss of control, no stunned for a turn or anything. It's just like it's just not very good. K-Bar says working my way through Moonrise Tower today. Yeah, that's a fun place. Like, I didn't care much for, like, Act 2 overall, just 'cause it's kind of a depressing act, but, some of these are fake, and it's going to tell me which one it is.
Hiding in plain sight.
Salutations. Methinks I spotted something.
I'm gonna have to get Lae'zel. I just can't jump for anything.
Enough waiting. I crave blood.
I wonder how long this went over that.
Yeah, so some of these landing spots are fake, and if you land on them, you'll naturally fall right through them.
Proceeding.
So this is
Someone's
one of the
onto
ways you
some
can get into the
trivia,
Underdark here.
which means there's something worth
Use some XP for finding it, and you can actually just take this mushroom circle back down.
No one stopped me yet.
Arjun says, hey Mort, do I have a build guide incoming? Not soon, but I will eventually do one, yes. Have I completed Reach the Dark Temple? Yeah, so the Dark Temple thing comes up in Act 2. Come on, get away from there. Adamantine Forge is not working properly. Do you know if it's because of the bug or something? What do you mean it's not working properly? I've had some issues where like it won't go down and I've had to just jump down, but other than that I've never really had any issues there. Have I oh, sorry, read that one already. Someone says I skipped Grimforge just to get to the Shadowlands quickly. I mean, yeah, that's not a totally unreasonable thing to do by any means. So if you come over here, you can get a really funny interaction in this somewhat secretive portion. There's a tough check coming up here, and I don't know if we'll pass it, but the fight might be a little rough if we don't. But you can find all these Kuatoa worshipping
A wave of... You don't reckon.
a fey creature that has tricked them into thinking it is
Sacrifice
the Lord of Murder himself, Baal.
for the great god.
This present.
Well placed. To all once
Okay, we have a ton of bonuses to this check, so hopefully we can do it. But we have a red cap posing as the Lord of Murder, and Kuatoa, with their combined belief, can actually make things into gods and kind of like will them into existence in a manner of speaking. Of course we failed that roll. Passed the 20, but failed the 15 with more bonuses. Ugh. But that's alright. It's possible to fight like just him, which isn't so bad. But trying to fight all of those guys at once if you don't have something to nuke them down with can be really annoying. Murlocs? I mean, kinda, sure. Which playthrough's been my favorite so far? I actually really enjoyed my cleric run with the Tempest cleric I made. That was a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
No time to waste.
Alright.
Nothing will stand in my way. Still
Nice.
breathing, despite everything.
Well, that actually went super well, guys. I've had that fight go terribly before, but that was pretty smooth. Can you get through all major bosses without fighting? Not all of them by any means. Missed both Eldritch Blasts on there. That is
I don't fancy their chances.
that is embarrassing.
Nothing important is ever easy.
Feel my mistress is wrong.
Still on my feet.
I will ascend. Make way.
You even have to dash to this guy. He's just like weirdly out of distance, which is annoying. How many points in intelligence to use spells for a wizard? All of them. You want all of the intelligence because it affects your save DC as well as the
Wonder how
attack
much a break.
rolls on the single target stuff. There we go. Now we can loot everything. Which isn't much, to be honest with you, but it's a really funny interaction down here. So we get this sickle, which, I mean, nobody needs, but kind of neat. Zerika says, whoa, you have a face. That is a lie only big content would sell you. This is actually not a face at all.
A lot on my mind and, well, in it. Anything of use?
This is just a really elaborate VTuber setup.
Another step forward.
RF says he's AI, of course. Revolver says a mimic. Alright, so there's a few more things to loot around here before we move on, and then we've basically got like one more thing in the Underdark to do before we move on to Grimforge. Zerika says probably not too far off from live action VTubers. I mean, I wouldn't say it's impossible in the future by any means, but VTubers are already super strange to me, so hard pass.
What's that?
Let's have a look.
And then last but not least, there's a side thing over here we can grab if we jump through some hoops. Orderman says, never been here before. What is this place? In the Underdark, there's a secret little meeting of Kuatoa you can find. It's just a funny little interaction. It's nothing like crazy by any means. You can jump over here to try to find a chest and a healing potion, but these torch stalks kind of get in the way of you there. What is the use of the ingots we get? So far, I've only been able to sell them. If they're used for anything else, I haven't been able to find it yet. I feel like they might have been like remnants of a crafting system at some point since we got alchemy. But as it stands, I haven't found any use for them. So you gotta be real careful right here. Because if you don't separate your party out,
Looking ahead.
they'll jump behind you and then get killed by that thing when they fall off the side.
Take heed. I see a trap.
Which has definitely never happened to me like 5 times. Do I think I need to pick stuff up to sell to have enough gold outside of the early game, or is there no need to? It's pretty helpful in the early game, but by the end, it's just not really necessary. I always wind up with way more gold than I need. Did we fight the Bulette already? Yeah, we did the Bulette last stream. You guys out of my way. The downside to having 10 strength is like not being able to jump very far. Alright, back up. And then we will go do the last part of the Underdark, which is the spectator fight. I don't know how that's going to go. We shall see. I actually might... The spectator fight's a little easier if you come at it from the other direction, so we might go... try to get in through the Temple of Saloon, but I guess we'll give it a shot first, see how it goes. My plan is the Dark Urge right now? No, no. Not currently. We're doing a nonsense build, 1 level in every class. Jumping is meta. Yeah, so jumping is like crazy strong. Like it's stronger than it should be, probably, but it's fun, so there's that. But with enough strength, you can jump farther than you can move. That's cool armor. Not super useful for us, though. We might give it to... Gale can make use of that, if I'm not mistaken, because he's a human and he gets light armor by default. Despite most people, you know, just leaving him in a robe. But that would void his bracers, so we actually might not do that, now that I think about it.
Yes?
Because his bracers require him not to be in armor. And that would literally give me the same amount, so... We can get inspiration for reading that.
Don't waste a step.
And then before we get
Let's move.
up here to deal with the spectator, we'll take a long rest for our spell slots.
You carry a Githyanki relic.
Oh, at least he's fighting.
Walk away. Now. I won't.
Lies. She carries an heirloom. No others. Just you and me.
Alright, and then this leads to another scene here.
If anyone asks, I'll say you were
Or
transforming.
if we don't pass this check,
Don't expect to
Lae'zel
be mourned.
dies.
She's a liability.
Let me up, and I'll show you. Surrender.
You had better warm to that. Let's not get a... Imagine...
Yeah, so if you don't pass that check, she will actually kill Lae'zel, which is kind of funny.
So, have we buried the hatchet, Lae'zel?
No. Why would I bury a weapon? Is it broken?
It's a metaphor.
I do not know your metaphor. But if you need help digging, I will find a shovel.
Alright, let's activate our stuff here. Where is our... For some reason, Find Familiar is not down here. Strange. Doesn't want to let me use Find Familiar. Oh well, though.
Should mind my step.
A long way from Waterdeep.
Hindrance
Everybody's
breeds madness.
good. Okay.
Can't give up now.
About as ready for this as we're gonna be.
Swift
Yeah, a
as
lot
my
of people
feet
commenting
can
on that
carry me.
scene. It is I love that they included it. Honestly, it's a great scene, and they kind of get along better afterwards if you manage to you know, not see one of them die. But Tony says, glad I get to actually watch past this part so nothing gets spoiled. Glad to hear it. Okay.
Be wary. This place is
I
trapped.
don't know how this is going to go with this bizarre build we're running. So hopefully I don't get wiped like turn 1 here. Oh, hey, it finally added Find Familiar. What in the world? That was so weird.
I've been watching you fight, Smith. Your skills are improving.
My skills were just fine to begin
Okay.
with. You can save the compliment.
Okay, saved against the paralyzed. That is fantastic. Now that, other than the surprise loss of turn, that actually didn't go so bad. Oh, there it is. Like, man, he was determined to get Gale. Good lord. He didn't attack anyone besides Gale. Nice.
Survival is all that matters.
To me. Have to keep going.
Okay, thanks to the days and everything, we've got a huge chance to hit. Is he... No, not resistance, though. Man, they just would not leave Gale alone. Ah, so close. I was hoping that was going to be it.
Not going to last much longer.
Really? Come on. Are you gonna let the Raven hit? Good lord. Okay. Like, we got it, but that was silly.
The traitor Kithrak takes great interest in this relic of yours, Shadowheart. Or should I say, weapon? What are you hiding?
Nothing. Just a brief rest.
Okay, and then we can pick up a pretty cool amulet off of it. Not that we'll get a ton of use out of it,
I
but
have the magic done.
better than nothing.
All's well that ends. Not as bad as it could have.
Which way to the nearest light?
No time to dally.
Heal up a little bit.
No, never mind.
Save again, and then we can talk to the drow we effectively saved.
Talk to.
Oh, torch dock got us there. Oh, he's stuck over there.
What's in here?
Is there a way to free all the statues in the area? Yeah, you can find, I think it's called basilisk oil.
I offer to parley. Now, you are? Risk on. Oh. Oh, no, no. A memory shot. It can. And my enemies have already found the forge. Which boss? Consider it. We were friends.
Alright, so if you... It's still possible to wind up in a fight with these guys separately.
Disappoint. Well, I have some business. I am.
Which is another way you can find out about the adamantine forge, but we've already learned about it from several locations. Not so bad XP, though. Now we can head up into the Selûnite Temple. Get away from it. K-Bar says you should repetrify him for the sass. Something like that. Alright, so if you destroy that moonstone up there, the two statues out there will stop firing, which isn't really necessary, but something you can do.
I bet that'll fit in my pack. Let's see what this does.
And then up here, behind a few hidden walls, there's a helmet for paladins or something like that. Something that, I want to say, something to do with their smites. I don't remember exactly, but it requires you to get in there.
Come on, open up.
The Griefer says, first time I've seen your face after watching hundreds of your videos. Yeah, I get that a lot. Philip says, what class did we get for level 5? We picked up, I believe it was Cleric. Cleric for level 5. We grabbed a War Cleric specifically so we could get the bonus attacks, which will technically give us an extra attack despite us only being 1 level in every class. Max Life asks what the achievement is. It is 1 level in every class without respecking. Oh. Didn't see the disarm there. It looks like it took the helmet with it. That's alright, we actually don't need that helmet anyway. Alright. Okay, we'll give it a
Hit the spot.
short rest, and then we will head off to Grimforge now. Mr. Stone asks if I edit everything myself and if I considered hiring a team. I do edit everything myself, but I mean, my edits are super simple, so it's not like I'm spending a ton of time on it. But could I hire someone to help? Sure, but you know, I don't want to. That's really what that comes down to. Chico asked, does it need to be main character for this achievement? As far as I know you can't do it by respecing, which means like hiring mercenaries and things doesn't work. So I can't say I've tried it by taking a companion all the way to the end and then doing it with them like an origin character, but it's my understanding it needs to be the main character.
A vessel wobbles on the lake's murky waters.
Okay. So, on our way to Grimforge, we'll be met by these guys. If you pass that athletics check and push him in the water, it starts a fight, but it is also super funny, which shouldn't be underestimated. This fight sucks, though, if you actually get into a fight on these boats, because everyone's just pushing each other into the water, which is like just instant kills, which is very annoying. Hey, K-Bar joined as a member. Thank you so much.
Damn.
All right.
Come on, the rest of
You continue
But we can
forward.
pass the check and make our way over here. Yeah. It becomes like a shove fest. They'll shove you into the water. You can shove them into the water, and like I've never had that fight without several people dying because everyone's just shoving each other into the water.
Another slave for the deep. That your twat's old chum owes us a load of nothing.
Okay, and here we are in Grimforge, which has its own set of problems. Is there another boat fight, or is that the only fight on boats? As far as I'm aware, it's the only boat fight.
Hells.
Dead drow, publicly displayed.
All right, and then whenever you're ready, that would take you to Act 2, this elevator over here.
Stick pick, you piss pot.
That's what I said. True soul, yeah? Tell the sergeant we want...
You heard the man. Let's see him.
You want near, you claw him out. And it... Come in.
Alright, and the crux of Grimforge is twofold. You can find the Adamantine Forge, and you can help a guy named Nier escape.
Far as I know. Still
Or,
wrapped
you know,
around
not.
Nier's pecker, too.
K-Bar says, I'm thinking of trying a no charisma run so I can fail all the dialogue checks. So here's the thing. I think charisma does make a great face character, but like a wisdom character will also pass a ton of dialogue checks based off of like wisdom and insight.
the half that weren't.
So it's not like going full charisma isn't as necessary as people seem to think it is. Do they have low intelligence runs? Well, you can only get your intelligence so low. Like there's like a minimum you're allowed to take
You
it to.
spot
So
a shiny trinket
not exactly.
on one of the corpses.
Absolutely.
All right, and then if we send those off, we get our chance at a ring on one of these guys.
Killed under the yoke of slavers.
There it is. Not a bad ring, honestly. Okay, so there's a variety of things to do around Grimforge and a variety of ways to tackle them. That said, we're doing a mostly good guy run here, so we're probably not going to help Nier, but while you can get into a battle with Nier, there's a much funnier way to deal with that situation.
The scraps of a nightfall feast.
Which is to basically do nothing.
To break bread in Shah's name, then spill blood in her name. A sacred rite.
Alright, there's a thing over here we'll wait to grab. We're gonna come around and talk to some people first before we go do anything else. Have I tried to throw Barbarian? A little bit, like early game stuff. I haven't done like a full playthrough with one yet, but I mean, technically I've tried one, yes. I love the music in Grimforge. Like I don't talk much about music, like in my videos in general, but I really do like the aesthetics down here. Alright, grab these throwable satchels. Delta Quadrant says this game is game of the year, so much the replay because of the replay value, and I hope so. I think this game has a fantastic chance of actually winning game of the year, but I know it will be a lot of people's game of the year regardless. Alright, there's a variety of encounters to get up to here, but first we're going to do the mimics.
Civilization than I know of.
Will I be streaming tomorrow? No. So streaming is kind of limited to days of the week for me, so it's probably going to be like Thursday through Saturday until I get this done.
This is a hopper rune.
I'll be working on other stuff in the meantime, but
there's
only a few days a week I'm actually available to stream,
sight like that.
which is another reason I don't do it
The
a ton.
hoppers are too smart for that.
Alright, so one of the mimic fights we can get up to.
Victory awaits. I am fury. I am death.
Hazel's actually doing some damage now that we got her a decent weapon. I mean, she wasn't doing bad to begin with, but doing quite well now.
Need to stay focused.
What would I say is a wow moment or the peak in Baldur's Gate 3? Like, I think probably the biggest moment for me was the end of Act 2, when the story starts to really come together, which, I mean, I'm not going to spoil here, obviously, until we get there, but I thought that moment was really epic.
I will ascend. Hetazeth.
That one.
Never a dull moment.
Do I not have advantage on that? Oh, she's using a reach weapon.
Can't give up.
Oh my god. The amount of things I'm leaving with 1 HP in this this run is ridiculous.
What's that?
At least things have stayed interesting.
Is Gale Evocation? Yes. Gale is our Evocation school, which is a personal favorite of mine. Those are great bard gloves, but they're also good for just about everybody. But that said, we're using our gloves of archery on this guy, so...
Assume nothing.
Lovely day, this.
I think we might... Yeah, we'll probably just give those to her.
Still breathing, despite everything.
Direct me.
My faith will guide me.
I don't think it's going to be a big deal, but just to give everybody a heads up, it is starting to storm here, so if I have any connection issues, that might probably be why.